Once again, another reading courtesy of Creative Life Spiritual Center. This one, of course, as you can see, is entitled The Good Samaritan. Let's see what we have to say. A man does what he must. In spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures, and that is the basis of all human character and morality. And that's John F. Kennedy in Profiles in Change. And Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook on page 517 says, I now decree and declare that I am free from all sense of bondage. I am perfect and whole through knowledge of the real life within me. And he's talking about, of course, the life of God within him. Or in Jesus' terms, the kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And our writer goes on to say, there's something exceptional about people who go out of their way to assist and support folk in need. It's a current day Good Samaritan scenario. Someone left in desperate need after certain abuse, rejection, and abandonment, and then the timely appearance and focused attention as someone who responds to divine discomfort with the intention and commitment to make a positive difference. Many debate whether our present-day Good Samaritan is taking unnecessary risks, or would be better served letting someone else address the situation. Attorney Brian Stevenson, founder and executive director of the Equal Just Initiative, EJI, strikes me as a modern-day Good Samaritan. His commitment to justice for those who have been locked up and whose keys have been thrown away is evidenced by his perseverance and his dedication to acknowledging everyone's humanity. I came from a world where we value redemption over revenge, he says. Under his leadership, EJI has won major legal battles and challenges, eliminating excessive and unfair sentencing, exonerating innocent death row prisoners, confronting abuse of the incarcerated and mentally ill, aiding children prosecuted as adults, and protecting condemned prisoners suffering from dementia. Stevenson and his staff have won reversals, release, or relief from prison for more than 135 wrongly condemned death row prisoners, and relief for hundreds of others wrongly convicted or unfairly sentenced. He says, each person in our society is more than the worst thing they've ever done. He demonstrates principle, is God sent for so many, and Reverend Andriette says, is my personal hero, my personal spiritual hero. I think if you watch the news, not necessarily so much in the newspaper, but certainly on television, if you watch television, you can see that there are a lot of people who are wrongly condemned. And I personally have an objection to kids being tried as adults. But the thing that strikes me most is this. I mentioned, well, actually, I probably didn't mention it because I repeated the talk from yesterday. But what I mentioned yesterday, which didn't come across actually because the recording fell, was that one of our Toastmaster members yesterday gave a speech. And it was actually a speech about his life growing up, then his early years of marriage, then his getting into a job that ended up in getting into all sorts of issues with drugs, and then getting out of that and freeing himself. But what he mentioned when he was talking was that about 50 plus, I forget the exact number, it's 50+% of people in prison have got mental issues. And I've always thought that we don't take into account people's mental states when they commit crimes. We don't take into account their social situation when they commit crimes. If you're in a well-paying job, in a pleasant environment, you got enough money coming in, there is no pressure on you to do anything else. If you've lived in an environment and you're in a community that supports you, there's a reasonably good chance that you are not going to get into deep trouble or get into major mental illness. It's not always the case, but it can be. Because I look back at some of my relatives here in the States, that is, through my wife's side of the family, and I see that some of them got in trouble because they were abused as kids. They were really badly treated as kids, and their parents or parent didn't want them, and that really impacts them. So I think we have Brian Stevenson sets in a great example, but the whole point is he shouldn't have to do that. This is my opinion. He shouldn't have to do that, because we really need to start looking at mental illness. We need to start treating mental illness. Yes, there are some people who commit crime, the 40 whatever percent who have no issues, but there's a lot of people who really need mental treatment, and providing them with mental treatment is going to reduce our number of people in prisons. It's going to reduce the cost for everybody, and it's going to make society a better place. That's my 10 cents on this whole thing. And finally, I'm going to say this. What I see on TV says that minorities are really unfairly treated. There's a vast proportion I see of people who've been unfairly treated by the legal system, who are either black, brown, yellow, indigenous people, or poor people. So I think there's a big gap there that we need to address. So, and part of what I'm doing is helping bring that to everybody's attention. So I hope you take this in, you think about it, and you decide what you have to do about it. And how about the affirmation? I can be counted on to be and do what is mine to be and do. I can be counted on to be and do what is mine to be and do. And since this is my second appearance today, I'm going to just say, I wish every one of you all the very best. I wish for you safety. I wish for you health. And I wish for you that you take care of yourselves, because taking care of yourselves is paramount. You can't take care of anybody else for a long time unless you take care of yourself. So go in peace, go in love, and go knowing that you are supported. And if you need help, you can reach out to us, info@creativelife.org. So until next time, au revoir, namaste, see you next time.